Hi everyone, welcome to this reading. I have my crystal ball off to the side, so I will be scrying throughout this message. If you're new to my channel, my readings are a little different, and if you're returning, welcome back. You know how we do. If it doesn't resonate with you, if you're forcing the story to fit, arguing with it in any way, just leave it behind for the people who it's meant for. So let's go ahead and let's begin. Taking a step aside. And allowing spirit to pass through me. Opening up to receive information. Okay, I'm seeing a bamboo. It's like new growth. New growth that happened slowly. No, new growth that came very slowly. I don't know why there's a distinction there, but there's a distinction there. It's happening in two areas of someone's life. It's being shown to me in a color green that represents both the finances and love. Oh, not love, heart space. Okay, they want that distinction. So finances and heart space. In the heart space, therefore, because it's not necessarily about love, it doesn't mean anything in terms of like a relationship status or a new person. This is about personal heart space having grown, probably healed of some things. Okay, now I'm seeing golden leaves falling. So this feels like an abundance shower in whatever form that abundance might take. I'm hearing a gift from beyond. And it's in this like Professor Trelawney voice. So if you don't know who Professor Trelawney is, in Harry Potter, she is the divinations teacher. And she has a habit of just like checking out and something speaks through her and she gives like these like prophetic visions and things, and everyone thinks she's just a crackpot. They think that she's like faking it or whatever, that she's a hack, and all of her predictions happen. So there's something about that, and I almost, okay, now I'm being pulled into like a small group, so I feel like that for some of you there's going to be a small portion of you who there may have been like a prophetic word that was spoken into your life at some point, and you're being asked to go back to that time and see what lined up and what didn't, right? For those of you that you're seeing that those things are happening, there's something in there that's going to tell you something to give you hope for your future. It's almost like the things that are happening now were wrapped up in that. I have that experience. Like when I was 17 years old, I had a woman tell me all sorts of things, and they called her the prophetess. And she said all kinds of things about my life, and by golly, all of it happened. And at the time, it sounded so crazy. It sounded so crazy. And the culmination of all of her messages led to this. It's she told me exactly the role I would come to fill. And that was the end of her prophecy. And so I have arrived. So there's something like that for whoever this message is for. There's somebody said something to you, and it's important that you remember what that is. For some of you, it might be like you went to a psychic, or, you know, but I'm feeling very specifically, it's like it was like packaged as a prophetic word. Okay. All right. Feeling some past energy for whoever this message is for. This past energy feels like the Nine of Swords. So I'm going to speak about that before I get to these cards. I have a little bit of this energy coming through that whoever this message is for, one of the things that we had to overcome. So if you find that this is still your energy, this reading isn't for you. Okay. You can watch it, you can get whatever you want to, but don't claim the point of the reading as yours if this doesn't line up. Whoever this message is for, in the past you had to overcome this energy of overthinking, right? Negative thinking, spiraling in your thinking. And this isn't coming through for people who are working on getting out of that. This is coming through for people who have actually gotten out of it. And there's a reason why that's important to understand, because the level of heart space healing isn't one that has happened for people who are still dealing with that. The type of heart space healing that they're showing me can't happen unless that's been done and over with for quite some time. So whoever this message is for, there was a lot of like mental reprogramming you might have had to do. You might have, maybe you went to therapy. Maybe you did this on your own. Maybe you figured out how to kind of like rewire your own mind, right? There's something here where someone had to get themselves out of the way that they used to think. And I'm very specifically seeing like this meshing, which is making me think of like neural pathways. Someone had to do something with their own neural plasticity. I don't know why that was so hard just now. Maybe there's something about plasticity. For some of you, it was like learning how to be more flexible and how to not have to control things, okay? For that to be the word that tripped me up there. So, how to do things with grace. How to like live with grace. Interesting. Oh, I don't know why I feel like that's actually literal for someone. How to live with grace, okay? And after a time of doing this, that's when we were able to delve into some sort of heart space energy, probably love for self. I'm feeling that very strongly in this energy. So now what that's bringing us into is this Queen of Wands. When we have this sort of being in this, spiraling energy of the mind, right? Not our mind controlling us, in other words. I think that's what someone had to overcome, was their mind controlling them. When we have the mind controlling us, we are not in control of our own willpower. So there's other things that are kind of controlling that, right? Other subconscious factors. And obviously subconscious factors will always be a factor. But when you're in a little bit more agency, you have more, you have more agency. So that's what somebody has worked on. And I'm seeing that being presented here with the Queen of Wands. There's a certain level of pride and value that someone has had to learn to cultivate inside of their life for themselves. This whole process of taking their energy away from the conflict of the mind is how they had to get their own personal power back. This energy over here was how they were leaking personal power to different places, right? Whether it's being afraid of being alone, so then they get into relationships that are bad for them, right? They always pick the wrong people because they don't take the red flags, because they don't want to wind up alone again, right? Or if it's somebody who, for example, is always worried about money, so then they always make bad like job decisions and they go work at these places when really they should be giving themselves more. It's something like that. There's this like, I almost feel it like this whirlpool that kept someone stuck for a long time. And in order to get unstuck, they had to stop the whirlpool. But that whirlpool was inside the mental energy. And as they did that, they were able to pull their personal power back away from those aspects of themselves. Now, what I'm seeing here is that this level of abundance that's coming in, it's coming in because someone has learned to control their mind, right? We have the Queen of Wands, and then we have the King of Swords. And the King of Swords is the individual who is sitting on that throne in absolute control of that sword, right? So there's something here about mental control. I'm going to say this also. When we have the sword, that is my card of the King of Swords and the Queen of Swords both. More so the Queen of Swords. So it's interesting that it's showing up as the King of Swords, and I'll get into why that's interesting. Those are both my cards of like a prophecy, or sometimes telepathic communication. For me, the Page of Swords is more telepathic. The Queen of Swords is very prophetic. The King of Swords is someone who oftentimes has the prophetic ability, but he can stay silent about it. He keeps that knowledge for himself. So there may be some of you who, as you've cleaned out the clutter that was taking place on a mental level for yourself, you may be realizing that you are receiving your own information now, that you're receiving insights and intuitions and guidance, and you're not necessarily sharing them with other people. They're for you. It's what you know. Okay. This is the energy that is coming up. Okay, so we have the 10 of Cups. That is like the ultimate happiness card. So whoever this message is for, I feel that you know this. I feel that you know that you're now directing your life towards happiness. There's like one little area though, and I'm saying that because I have this little bird here on the very top that's standing out to me. There may be one little area that you feel like you can never quite click into place. And I feel that that's why this reading is coming in. Okay, there's something here about this, that one area is probably about to click into place. Okay. One of the things is that in that spiraling whirlpool energy, there's still something that is affecting that one area. So for some of you, this is going to be in, like, notice this too. You have the devil, and you don't have two birds in this deck tied to this devil. You only have one. So I'm getting from this that there is, how do I want to put this? There's one thing that happened that started that entire whirlpool in terms of whatever energy this is, whether this is, I feel it's going to land in either your finances or the heart space. There is one source for this whirlpool energy, and this is what someone is focused on right now. I don't think I'm telling somebody something new. I think this is something someone already knows. This is probably what someone is working on right now. And the reason why I'm saying that is because it is taking a center position. Okay. This is something that you will complete. You will successfully handle this because the World card follows. Right? That represents the completion of a cycle, but the World card represents the grand transformation. The World card in the story of the Major Arcana series, and if you're interested in that, in the channel memberships, we go through the Major Arcana. We go through the mythic layer in the first half, and the second half we talk about the alchemical layer. In the alchemical layer of the Major Arcana, the World card really represents the completion of the work that was the creation of the Philosopher's Stone. And this is what I think someone has been working on. It's almost like your own great work for your soul story in this incarnation, that this, for some of you, this prophecy even had something to do with. It's about transmuting whatever the energy is that has kept this part of your life stuck or in shambles or unable to grow, right? We started off with that bamboo and the new growth. That bamboo is extremely lucky. So there may even be things that have occurred inside of your life where you look back and you're like, man, I am so lucky. I was in the right place at the right time to figure that out, right? And that's because this was something that was always meant to happen, hence the prophetic word. This here inside the World card is... this here inside the World card, it's like... Okay, I'm going to draw your attention to this in order to talk about this. There's some of you, by the way, because this is happening with my throat, I know there are some of you that are really going to resonate with this being kind of like a starseed storyline, okay? Because that's usually what happens when I'm having a hard time getting through my words like this. Even if you don't necessarily resonate with the stereotypical starseed, like, I always call it doctrine, information. If you feel like you're from someplace else, then you might want to pay extra attention to this, okay? With especially this card, because it started on kind of the end of Devil and beginning of this card. When we have this card, the World, the way that this is being portrayed inside this deck, this almost makes me think of laurel leaves. Now, bay laurel is something that has been used to crown the victor and the king. It symbolizes the victor, right? Whether it's coming from the Olympics and how they used to use it in ancient times, or when it crowned kings, or when it crowned people who won at particular competitions. It's always the person that comes out on top. There's some sort of situation here inside your life dealing with either finances or the heart space that has kept you stuck and that you've been a slave to at some point inside of your life. And now is the time that you become the victor over this. I was expecting that. Yeah. Oh, here we go. The bottom. Okay. All right, so we're going to move these up here. So the next cards that come out are the Three of Wands to the Temperance card. The Three of Wands, this is making me think of that journey, right? That journey towards that guiding star. Again, some of you know that you're meant for a really good life. You just know it in your bones. There may have been other things that you're worried about and you may have convinced yourself of, but deep down inside you know that's not going to be me. And this is, or maybe you didn't always know it, but you're starting to see it. Right? When we have the Three of Wands, this is the explorer who's about to go explore a new land. So the thing that it is that has eluded you is something that you've never had. And so this is why it's been so hard for you to be able to fit that piece into your puzzle finally, because you don't have the energy to even be able to emanate in order to call it in. Right? So this is where this Temperance card comes in. It's not so much being able to imagine it or feel it or call it in, so much as it is balancing your own energy within you. And this is why there was the emphasis in the very beginning that the heart space stuff isn't necessarily about someone else. It's about you first and foremost. So maybe this is finances, and you've never had a lot of money, so you don't even know what that feels like. It's not about being able to feel it in order to attract it in. For those of you who are like focused on manifestation, it's about just balancing your own energy, right? Balancing your own relationship to something. I feel that for some of you, that is the hard work that you're doing right now. There may even feel like there's a block in that area, and so there may be a lot of frustration, like, well, how do I work through my relationship with that, because I have this persistent belief or I have this persistent limitation. And the interesting thing about that, when I felt like I should cross a card like this is what's about to cover it, I got the Star, and the Star is about liberation. It's about things being made clean and made new. So this is a message that's coming through for somebody, that that belief or that thing that you're struggling with that is preventing you from being able to call in or have something. And I'm saying call in because remember in the very beginning there was a distinction about new growth that comes slowly, not that is happening slowly. This energy is telling me that whatever that block is, we're about to be liberated from it. And this is a type of healing that happens deep within us whenever we get everything else in order. Okay. This is the theme. The bottom of the deck is the theme. It's the Eight of Pentacles. This is what someone has really worked on. This is what someone has been working on for quite some time inside their life. Notice how there's these two areas, right, that this bird has been pecking away at. And again, I opened up with one of the images was golden leaves that are falling. It's like an abundance that is about to be placed inside of someone's life because it's a gift from beyond. There's something here that we've been doing, and I almost feel that for some of you there's like ancestral help. Okay, some of you, you know, whatever you resonate with, it's going to be that. But I do feel specifically for some of you, it's ancestral. And it's almost like, okay, you got all these other energies in order. This can finally fit in there now, whether you know how to conceive of it or not. Okay, and I just saw like a wheel that was turning. So some sort of energy is starting to shift and it's clicking into place. So I'm going to leave this here. Whoever this message is for, this is exciting. So I hope this resonates with you. If you hit that like button, feel free to leave me a comment. And until next time.